Johnson here with Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle, and today I'm going to show you how to make an elemental shake. I'm using my handy dandy Vitamix here. You can use any kind of blender that has at least 3 horsepower. This one's a little expensive, but it lasts for 10-year warranty. I've had it for 5 years now, and it's doing great. So an elemental shake is literally the macronutrients blended up in the most digestible way. Right? So you got the proteins, the fats, the carbohydrates, and we can do this in a whole foods-based way where we actually use whole foods, and we can also do it where we just use like a blended mixture. When doing that, I like to use Absorb Plus. Jeannie Patel is amazing. She knows a lot. She knows a lot about what she's doing, and this is her mixture. So if you're in a deep flare, you're bleeding, you're really holding on, the doctors want to do surgery, I would recommend starting with this. You definitely need an elemental shake to rest the bowel, to get the absorption of nutrients, to start decreasing symptoms. You're just at that point where that's really going to be the best way to start. And I would highly suggest you working with your doctor and maybe a coach to help you getting past there. So we're going to do a whole foods based one today for everyone out there. So when you're starting a elemental shake, you really want to start with understanding what food you want to put and why. I use all vegan. I mean, of course, people putting raw eggs and pieces of steak in there, hey, that's your, do what you got to do, brother. But we're going to stick with the vegan shake, of course. So when you're coming up, you want to figure out how much water you want to put in here. I usually use about 8 ounces, maybe 10 ounces of water. And, I like to put my water in first so that the supplements don't get lost or, stuck at the bottom or anything like that. So when we're going from there, there's a lot of options we can use. If you're in a good state, you need a few extra calories, you can also put in a little almond milk. I use almond milk, no sugars. Very important you're staying away from any kind of refined sugars or anything of that nature. And this can be a little extra calories, maybe a little sweetness if you want to go there. So also, what I usually start with is Udo's oil. Now, essential fatty acids are so important in your diet. It's so important for anyone dealing with autoimmune diseases or inflammatory bowel disease. You need these. They're very anti-inflammatory. They're very helpful with your endocrine system, your thyroids, your whole body, nervous system. Very important. And they're very hard to absorb. So this is going to be one of those effective ways to get that. Usually a teaspoon should do. I eye everything at this point. So let's put in a little teaspoon of that. Okay. Now, from here, you can put in all your supplements first, you can put in your food first, whatever you make sense, okay? So I usually start with that because from here, I might just put in a little bit of the Absorb Plus and mix that in, and I'm good to go. If I need quickness, if my stomach's really hurting me, I'm sticking with that, and I'm just leaving it there. Now, the first food I always like to use as a base is highly ripened bananas. And they're in this bag because what I do is I peel them out, put them in my freezer. That acts as, so I don't have to use ice. As you start to heal more, you can handle the cold. And bananas are seedless, skinless, 100 calories each, lots of potassium, good fiber, and easy to absorb, and very low in insoluble fiber. You don't want too much of that. So right there, I have about 200 and let's say 220 calories, roughly. So when I freeze them, they can go there. Second thing I like to use, and this is different, if you're in different spots, you can use different fruits, but you want to look for something that doesn't have a skin, something that doesn't upset you, something like maybe plum, peach, papaya. You really want to go for organic. Here you can see I do not have organic. If you can't find organic or the store you're at is out of the organic, obviously this is better than nothing at all, right? So we're going to take these blueberries, and again I eye them. You probably want to do around a half cup, maybe. Now blueberries, I like the blueberries a lot. They're high in quercetin, which helps with memory. They're also high in bioflavonoids, and they seem to be pretty easy to digest for most people. Strawberries, high in vitamin C, and the thing about strawberries is they do have a little bit of seeds in them, and some people have a little bit of a hard time with them. So use what works for you. But again, I'll usually put just a few in here like that. All right, what else we got? So I'm not going to peel it now because it's not ripe, but avocado is one of my most favorite things to put in a shake. Why? Raw green food, high in chlorophyll. It's high in potassium, high in fats, high in protein, high in the good type of fiber we want. Green food. So this is one of the most superfoods in the world that you can put in, and it's so beneficial for us, and most people do well with avocado. You want to make sure it's fully ripe. Maybe put in a half to a full avocado. Second thing baby spinach. If I'm going to put in any type of actual raw green, baby spinach is the only one I use because of its digestibility. It's much easier. You put in kale or these other types of chard or something like that, that's not going to taste terrible, but it's not going to go down well. It's not going to digest well. The fiber in that just doesn't break down too well. So with this, I'll use at discretion. Sometimes I'll put in a half or full cup, but just a little bit more pinch in there, and we should be good. Okay, so other things you can put in here is virgin coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil. This has got tons of fats, tons of good lauric acid, and it's really going to help you with your inflammation, your amount of fats you're actually digesting. So, and if you don't want to do the avocado, this can be a good supplement. Next, I have maca root. Maca root is from the radish family, and it's a great substitute for caffeine. If you're having trouble with mental clarity, a sense of sharpness, this is really going to help with that. It's also known to really help with regulating hormones and also libido and the woman's menstrual cycle. So if you're having kind of hormone issues like that, this is a great supplement, and especially if you're trying to reduce your coffee. So I'm actually going to take, I'm not going to take this right now. So then we have grounded slippery elm bark. Slippery elm bark is part of a tree grounded up, and when it's mixed with water, it has a gel-like feeling to it. Okay, so this actually acts as a natural organic stomach coater, right? So when we put this in there, it's going to help kind of cover up our mucosal lining, especially where those ulcerations already damaged the mucosal lining. So this right here is a fantastic supplement to add to your elemental shake. Again, I'm going to put in about a teaspoon. Sometimes I'll do 1-2 teaspoons. When you start to learn how your body works, you get a taste of how much you want. So always, and start with less. It's always better to start with less. It's just a healthy thing to do. The bulking agent I like to use is grounded psyllium husk. Now, some people this doesn't do well with, especially if you have an inflammation in your small intestine. You could use grounded flaxseed or grounded chia seed. But if you're getting urgency, if you're getting any kind of movement too much, bulking agent is really going to help take care of that. It's also great if you eat something bad. It can help kind of grab that and help push it through. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, again, about a teaspoon. I'm going to eye it. I've been doing this so long. Okay. There we go. Now, some other things I might use is L-glutamine. L-glutamine is the amino acid that helps build the mucosal lining. Okay, so this obviously is just free form. Now, what do I mean free form? That means there's nothing else in it. If I look back here on the ingredients label, there's literally no other ingredient on here, so it's an absolute free form. Now, if you're a weightlifter or a bodybuilder, you know that glutamine is very effective at repairing muscle tissue, and obviously same thing in the gut. So that and branch chain amino acids, this is more for those people out there who are trying to build muscle. We can get this in free form without any kind of the inflammatory responses that we would get in, let's say, some of these GNC products or these products that people are selling. This I like to use pure encapsulations, but great way to be working out a lot. I also don't mix this in the shake, but sometimes when I'm having my shake, I'll use astragalus root. Astragalus root is great to boost the immune system. It's also antiviral. And then also I'll use some turmeric. Turmeric mixed with omega-3 is very anti-inflammatory, is very high in antioxidants, so can't go wrong with that. These are basically most of the products I use. Then I'm going to come on here, turn her on.
Unleash your creativity with creative fabric.